Kikyo and Kagome, man. Drama, drama, drama. The fandom is split between these two, sprouting hate groups and bash posts around the net. We'll be discussing Kikyo and Kagome's relationship and how they react and felt about each other. Solo videos coming later. So what I want to start off with is what I like to call the first encounter. This is when the triangle truly begins in the series. It sets up everything that's going to be repeatedly happening for the most part. Whether it's InuYasha running off to Kikyo or Kagome just sitting helplessly by a tree. You're going to see also what Rumiko is setting up and echoing throughout the series. So to begin, Kagome finally walks through Kikyo's barrier and meets her for the first time. FYI, Kagome was knocked out when Kikyo originally returned. No, Kagome actually compares herself to Kikyo. This beautiful line wasn't just because Kikyo was beautiful, it was also Kagome downgrading herself. As if anyone in the series that I've seen the both of them doesn't immediately say she looks exactly like Kikyo. This line actually showcases what's kind of her arc throughout the series. Like, she has a huge amount of insecurities. The love triangle may have began here, but her inferiority complex to Kikyo started probably earlier in the series. Like, within the first 5 chapters. Kikyo is made out to be this great and powerful woman who everyone respects. Kagome is supposed to be her. She's supposed to live up to this legend, but she can't even shoot an arrow, let alone hit the target. We can't also forget InuYasha playing a major role in this. He doesn't even befriend her initially because of his relationship prior with Kikyo, which I think Kagome kind of starts resenting her because of this. This is where we start getting the "I'm not Kikyo, I'm Kagome" lines. Hell, even Kikyo starts becoming jealous as she starts questioning Kagome, "What are you to InuYasha?" Now, the anime for some reason rips out this part where InuYasha previously tells Kagome that he wants to be by her side. To put a little context to my interpretation, he doesn't necessarily ask her out or anything, so they're not officially together, but they're kinda in that, we're talking phase. Kikyo does mock Kagome by saying, "He's not coming to save you, he's coming to see me." InuYasha, after tracking down his monster that's been collecting souls, he discovers it's actually Kikyo. Kikyo explains she can't move without them, and that he may find her disgusting now, but this is the length she's willing to go for her vendetta against him. InuYasha cries out that she may hate him, but he doesn't feel the same way, and thinks about her every day. No matter what form she takes, he can't hate her or be repulsed by her. Still angry at InuYasha, she does try to kill him. Now the anime does omit the part as I said earlier, but Kagome isn't mad about the kiss. She's upset that InuYasha told Kikyo that he thinks about her every day. And she's like, how can you want to be by my side and still think about Kikyo every day? InuYasha explains that he's choosing both. So this is where the two-timer line comes from. But for more clarification, he means he has regrets about Kikyo's death. He kind of blames himself for this, because if he had trusted her, she would be alive. Okay, so what I want to do right now is actually talk about Kikyo and Kagome and how they essentially kind of affected each other throughout this love triangle. Now, I want everyone to put themselves in Kikyo's shoes for this one. Your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend is traveling with someone who looks exactly like you, doing work in the same job you used to work at. Hell, even staying over at your sister's house. Kikyo wanted to live a normal life and continue changing InuYasha's heart. Yet this copy of her is doing it. I used the word copy because Kikyo looks at her in that manner. She doesn't look at Kagome as Kagome per se, hence why she's always addressing Kagome as me. So Kikyo feels like Kagome is her replacement, rather it be for InuYasha's love and affection to her duties as the guardian of the jewel, which pushes Kikyo to try to kill Kagome, as she feels like there shouldn't be 2 of them in this world, and the duties of protecting the jewel was originally her job. To be honest with you guys, after hearing all that, I would be pretty upset myself had I returned and been in her predicament. An interesting comparison is how Kagome handles these events. Kagome may not be in the exact same position as Kikyo. After all, she isn't dead, but Kagome does have to deal with being the number 2 girl. At one point in this series, Kagome wishes Kikyo would disappear, kind of like a soft version of wishing Kikyo would die. This is the darkest moment of her character arc in the entire series. And if that wasn't enough, Kagome goes from being immune to Naraku's impurities, like the illusionary death spell, to later having the infant nearly grasp control over her soul after finding the dark emotions she has for Kikyo and InuYasha. Finally, her emotions get the best of her. Near the end of the series, Naraku taints her soul with a mere touch of the spiderweb. Her insecurities toward Kikyo finally crack. Now, what contributed to her snapping like this? Well, Now we have to kind of talk about InuYasha and Kikyo. InuYasha and Kikyo do have history, and there's many things about InuYasha that Kagome doesn't know about. She knows she can't compete on that front. InuYasha was willing to become full human for Kikyo. Now, I get this may seem like a negative thing to a lot of you guys, but that's not the case in this series. It's supposed to showcase how much he's willing to sacrifice for her. And yes, he hates being human. Now, it's not like Kikyo hasn't sacrificed or isn't willing to sacrifice herself for him either. Let's not forget, Kikyo died for InuYasha. She had the jewel. She could have healed herself, but she chose to follow him to death. So I ask, how in the hell do you compete with that? And if that wasn't enough, InuYasha does run after Kikyo quite a lot. Now, there are two important moments when he does run after Kikyo. One of them resulting in him essentially choosing Kikyo over Kagome. This does help Kagome realize that she has fallen in love with InuYasha. And due to this realization, Kagome does choose to stay by InuYasha's side, which she kinda has to grind her teeth and bear the fact that she's not the one he chose. So the second one in particular is when InuYasha runs after Kikyo and hopes that she's alive. This takes place after Naraku tried to kill her. And I feel this is a critical moment in the series, as not only does this moment help push Kagome farther in the background of Kikyo and InuYasha's relationship, but this also marks Kikyo and Kagome's final conversation regarding each other and InuYasha. So Kagome wanders off into a barrier. Does this give anyone first encounter vibes? Kagome sees Kikyo laying in the water. She's given two choices, either save her or let her die. Obviously, she's going to save Kikyo, but once she saves Kikyo, Kikyo does ask Kagome, why did you save me? Kagome pretty much says that there wasn't really much of a choice, as she was pretty much like the only one that was capable of helping Kikyo. And after hearing that, Kikyo pretty much says that she's not gonna say thank you then. Now when InuYasha arrives looking for Kikyo, Kagome gets upset, as the entire time she was saving Kikyo, she only thought of saving Kikyo, while InuYasha was out there thinking about Kikyo. She felt like a fool, and in anger, she lashes out at him, yelling, I hate you. So what makes this so significant is that Kagome normally gets mad and tells InuYasha to sit, or calls him an idiot, but she has never said that she hated him before. Heck, InuYasha even tells her to pretty much take it back or say sorry. So outside of Kagome being stressed and everything, I really want to go back to the beginning of this scene and talk about something. Okay, so Kagome is stuck in the water. She's passed out, like, after rescuing Kikyo. Kikyo awakes, and she pulls Kagome out of the water. This is never talked about. We are focused on the negatives of this part, but not the positives. Like, Kagome never asked Kikyo, why did you save me? In response to the same question Kikyo gave her. So what's pretty interesting about this scene is that Kikyo feels that InuYasha wants to see Kagome rather than her, and Kagome feels the opposite of that. She's like, no, he wants to see you. So they're kind of in the same boat of thinking the other is gonna get his love and affection. Granted, yeah, we do know that he kind of was looking forward to seeing Kikyo, but it was just the fact that she was very insecure of Kagome still. So rather me talking about this scene and comparing it to the first encounter, I really want to jump into like the anime comparisons, not of this scene, but something that happened, I think Rumiko kind of like in a way copy from the anime. Now there's a filler episode in the anime, Kagome and Kikyo alone in the cave. A lot of InuYasha fans love this episode, but I have like a love-hate relationship with this, as in the writer's interpretation of Kikyo's character seems like kind of non-Kikyo, but that's my only gripe about it. But if I had to do a comparison between these two events, between Kagome and Kikyo, they kind of do essentially the same thing. So this episode is essentially about Kikyo and Kagome kind of like saving each other, trying to escape this deadly situation, and them eventually kind of talking about InuYasha and a little bit about each other. So the question in particular that Kikyo asked Kagome earlier, why did you save me? It did originate from this filler episode, and the reasoning is different though. Kagome's reasoning here for saving Kikyo was kind of like for InuYasha's sake, rather than Kagome kind of like doing it because she had no choice or it was like the right thing to do. Which Kikyo also acknowledges that she kind of did it for the same reason as Kagome in the episode, because InuYasha would be heartbroken if she was gone as well. Kikyo and Kagome kind of like ended the episode on like a good note, on a sister wives type of relationship where they both acknowledge each other's importance in InuYasha's life rather than being like rivals. Maybe in the future we can actually go over the filler episodes and dissect those as well, because we're kind of running out of time here. Again, this is the last time these two actually have any conversations like this. Like, Kagome does get a personification of her insecurities of Kikyo later. She does have to confront them at the end of the series and finding out that she is of her equal, and at least in terms of like respects to InuYasha. Like, she's experienced things with him that Kikyo hasn't. And that's all good and dandy, and I love that character development. That's great. But and I'm sorry for ranting, guys. We don't get anything outside of that, especially for Kikyo. Kikyo does ultimately entrust Kagome with the duties of taking care of the Shukanotama and slaying Uraku, and she kind of leaves that to InuYasha as well. But like, outside of that, their whole relationship of just understanding each other doesn't really like get dealt with on a like a conversation based thing. I did want them to talk. These two actually need to talk more than anybody out there. InuYasha and Kikyo had their moment earlier in the series. They had a couple of moments, so that's cool. They got that out of the way. They had some problems. Kikyo and Kagome should have had this opportunity. Granted, they didn't have to, but it would have made the fans feel a lot better. And the most important thing is that we never really got like closure on Kikyo's insecurities toward Kagome or anything like that. I mean, like, Kagome got her little bits, but we never tackled that. The only thing that we did end up getting for Kikyo was the whole InuYasha and her closure at the end. But missed opportunities. That's a topic for another video. I'll see you guys later.